There is a moment in a woman's life that almost no one talks about. Not because it is rare, but because it is quiet. It is the moment when everything she once leaned on slowly disappears. The calls stop, the messages become shorter, then vanish. The people she trusted begin to feel distant or suddenly completely gone. And in that silence, a question rises. Why am I alone? At first it feels like loss, like something is breaking, like life is quietly taking things away from her. But what if nothing is being taken? What if something is being made? Her name was Elena. She was the kind of woman people described as strong. She worked hard, she showed up for everyone, she listened, helped, gave, often more than she received. And for a long time her life looked full. Friends, conversations, plans, laughter, a relationship she thought would last, a future she believed she understood. Until one year, everything changed. It didn't happen all at once. It never does. First, the relationship ended. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly like a door that closes without a sound. Then friendships began to shift. People got busy, replies became slower, invitations stopped coming. At first she told herself it was temporary. They're just busy, things will go back to normal. But deep down, she felt it. Something was changing. The nights became the hardest. Because during the day she could distract herself. Work, tasks, small conversations. But at night, there was nothing left to hide behind. Just silence and thoughts. So many thoughts. She would lie in bed staring at the ceiling, asking questions she didn't know how to answer. Did I do something wrong? Why did they leave? Why does everything feel empty? And the most painful one, why does it feel like no one is here for me? One night, unable to sleep, Elena got up and walked outside. The city was quiet, streetlights glowing softly. No noise, no rush, no distractions, just stillness. She sat on a bench, and for the first time in a long time, she stopped trying to fix anything. She didn't reach for her phone. She didn't play music. She just sat there and listened. At first, there was nothing, just the sound of her own breathing. But then something subtle happened. Not a voice, not a miracle, just a feeling, a strange sense that the silence wasn't empty. It was full. The next day, nothing changed on the outside. No messages suddenly appeared. No one came back. But something inside her shifted. She woke up and didn't immediately check her phone. She made coffee and sat by the window. And for the first time, she noticed how quiet her life had become. Not in a painful way, but in a clear way. Days passed, then weeks. And slowly Elena began to change. At first it was small. Instead of reaching out to people who no longer responded, she started writing. Not for anyone else, just for herself. Thoughts she had never said out loud. Questions she had always avoided. She started reading again, not because she had to, but because she wanted to understand something deeper. She started taking walks alone. At first it felt uncomfortable, then it felt peaceful. There was no dramatic turning point, no big breakthrough, just a quiet transformation. Like something invisible was being rebuilt inside her. One evening, as she sat with her journal, she wrote a sentence that surprised even herself. I think I'm not losing people. I'm being separated. She paused. Separated. From what? From noise, from expectations, from the need to always be needed. For years, Elena had defined herself through others. The helpful one, the reliable one, the one who is always there. But now, with no one around, who was she? That question used to scare her. Now, It intrigued her. Weeks turned into months, and the silence that once felt heavy began to feel sacred. She started praying, not perfectly, not with the right words, just honestly. Sometimes she didn't even ask for anything. She just sat there and spoke from her heart. And in those quiet moments, she began to feel something she hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from everything going right, but the kind that comes when you stop depending on everything outside of you. One day she ran into an old friend. They talked for a while, and at one point the friend asked, "You've changed?" "What happened?" Elena smiled. She thought about everything she had gone through, the loneliness, the silence, the questions, and then she said something simple. "I stopped running from being alone." But what she didn't say was that being alone had taught her something most people never learn, that when everything disappears, you finally see what was always there, because in that silence, she discovered a strength she didn't know she had, a clarity she never had time to notice, and a connection that didn't depend on people staying. She realized something powerful. The people leaving was not the end of her support. It was the beginning of her foundation. There is a kind of growth that only happens when there is no one to distract you from yourself, no one to validate you, no one to guide you, just you and the quiet space where something deeper begins. Most people are afraid of that space because it feels like emptiness, but it's not. It's construction. When a woman has no one but God, she doesn't become weaker. She becomes clearer. She stops performing. She starts becoming. She learns that her worth is not in how many people stay, but in who she is when no one does. And slowly, the woman who once feared silence becomes the woman who finds strength in it. So if you are in that season right now, if your phone feels quiet, if your world feels smaller, if it seems like people are drifting away, don't rush to fill the space. Don't chase the noise, because this might not be loneliness. This might be alignment. You are not being left behind. You are being pulled inward, and what you build there, in the quiet, will be stronger than anything you ever built in the noise. One day your life will become full again. People will return. Opportunities will come. Conversations will grow. But this time, you will be different. You will not depend on the crowd to feel whole, because you have already learned how to stand in the silence. And that is a kind of strength that nothing can take away. If this story spoke to you, comment one word: alone, but growing. And remember, sometimes, the moment you feel like you have no one is the exact moment you are being rebuilt into someone you've never been before.